say it. So this time up, it is Jess Franco's Devil Hunter, also known as Sexo Cannibal. Here we've got it on the Severian video DVD label. It was originally released by Cine Hollywood in 1981, I think, and then banned in August 1984. So yeah, it remained on the list until this release. As for the story, it's your usual Jess Franco thing. A pretty fit woman who's an actress gets kidnapped, held for ransom. Al Cliver turns up and tries to save the day. He kind of does. Then she gets sort of like held hostage by a load of not hostage, but gets kidnapped by a load of sort of like tribal people who then put her as an offering to the Black Cannibal God. And that is actually pretty much it. I mean, there is more to the story, but that is the overall view of it. As for the acting, it's a shame, because the actors in here are some pretty good actors. I mean, you got Al Cliver. Granted, he's not the best actor, but another films that he's done is actually extremely good in. And you got Robert Foster. I mean, has anybody actually seen Cannibal Terror? He's a decent thing, isn't it? So yeah, editing wise, it's the usual Jess Franco crack. There's not really much to it. I mean, this is a guy who's pretty much directing fortes are point and shoot. That's it. There's no over the top sort of like camera work. The editing's very lucid. It fits. Again, there are scenes that aren't really needed in there. But it's just the usual Jess Franco thing, so if you're a fan of his, you're well aware of what you're going into. Obviously there is a slight bit of violence, but on the rating of violence, I'm going to give it a 1, because there really isn't anything. What I will give it a rating on is the nudity, because hence Jess Franco, you know there's going to be a lot of it, and this one does deliver on the nudity. Again, there is a few rapes thrown in there. I mean, the only thing I will say is there's the male nudity. I was a little bit with the main Black Cannibal God. There's only one guy. He's somewhat well endowed, and credit to the guy. But I think he could have wore a cloth through some sequences, especially the end sequence with Al Cliver on top of the cliff. Absolutely hilarious, and it just makes it even more hilarious to see this thing whack backwards and forwards. Audio wise, I mean, this release is in mono. The soundtrack was done by Jess Franco as well, I think. So you've got sort of like usual jazz influenced soundtrack to there. As for the actual release, now it's released by Cinewood on VHS, and that one is extremely rare now. It's one of the holy grails of videos, so if you've got it, you're a lucky bastard. If you haven't, this is the version to go for. Completely fully uncut, digitally high def remastered, and it really does show. The only thing that lets it down a little bit is the audio, but again, considering the time that it was released in or made, it's not too bad. Now, I picked this one up for roughly about a tenner from a convention about 2 years ago. Now, I've got to say, I already had this one. Already had a copy of Devil Hunter. The copy that I had of, if nobody knows this release, you're lucky. Now, this release is Terror Tales from the Hood. Now, being a fan of Jess Franco and being a fan of Video Nasties, I really wanted to obtain a copy, and I wasn't gonna fork out the money for a bootleg, because sort of like, I've been there, I've done that. I wanted an official release. Now, although this one isn't official release, it's a grey label unofficial official release. For those who don't really know what that is, it's kind of like in certain parts of the country or world, certain films fall into sort of like public domain. So this is basically what this one is. It's a grey label public domain release of the film. It's released by a company called Video Asia. Now, I spent 10 quid at a convention on the other version, on the high def version. I spent £7 on this one, and it is the worst £7 I have ever spent in my life. I got this one roughly about 6 years ago. I got it from a guy in America. I got talking to him and I asked if he had a copy, and he said he could obtain a copy for me, so I said yeah, that's fine. I received it, I put it in, and it's awful, it's unwatchable. It basically looks like they've taken a VHS copy of it, took it out of the actual casing, so it just leaves you with the videotape wire, and they've like rubbed crap on it and they've put it back together and then sort of like put it onto DVD. It makes absolutely no sense. I mean, I could sort of go, well, yeah, you've got 2 films on one, but the other film on there, Black Voodoo Exorcist, it's crap as well. It is £7 I've wasted on this. If I was just sort of like, if I waited just a little bit longer, a couple of more years, I wouldn't have wasted £7 on that, and I would have just got this one. As for this one, they did release it in America. It's the exact same film, exact same extras, everything is the exact same. The only difference is the little 18 certificate rating there. So as I say, you've got these 2 versions, and you've got the VHS. I also think it's been released in Germany as well, and I think XTC, I think that's XTC Video. I think they released it, and I think they released it under the Sexo Cannibal title, I think, or something Manhunter. Now, I don't know if that one's uncut, but the only thing is with German releases, they are somewhat expensive. So if you are a die-hard fan of Jess Franco and Video Nasties, it's this one. This is pretty much the copy you need. So yeah, that's pretty much it really. I mean, gore, no. Sex, nudity, yes. As an overall Video Nasty rating, cult status, literally pushes it to about a 5, because it is one of the holy grails of the Video Nasties. So at that note, I'm literally, it's going to be a 5 out of 10 on the cult status for this one. So yeah, Devil Hunter.